welcome to TechFest TV. Today we're going to be learning about DNA. So, what is DNA and what does it do? Well, DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, to give it its full name, is found in every living creature on Earth. And it is essentially the biological instructions that determines how that creature grows, functions, and reproduces. Okay, so I know that's a lot to take in, but we can think about this another way, because you have DNA inside of you. And that DNA is essentially an instruction manual that has all of the instructions on how to make you. And I have DNA inside of me too. But my DNA is a little bit different to your DNA, because you and I don't look exactly the same, do we? And the reason for that is because there are slight differences in our DNA. In fact, if you think about all of your family and your friends, you don't all look identical, do you? You might have differences in your hair. Maybe you've got different colours of hair, different textures of hair. Or maybe you've got different colour of eyes, or skin, or maybe your best friend's got loads of freckles and you've got none. Or maybe you're the tallest kid in your class, or the shortest kid in your class, or have really big feet. All of these features, and many, many more, are determined by your DNA. They're written into your DNA inside of you. And because every person on the planet is unique, we all have our very own unique DNA, or genetic code. So that's what DNA does. But what does DNA look like? Well, if you've ever seen a picture of DNA either in a book or maybe on TV, it probably looks something like this. It sort of looks like kind of twisted ladder shape, doesn't it? Well, this shape's actually called a double helix, and it's really important that DNA forms this shape. Let's think about your DNA. If we took your entire DNA sequence, we call that your genome, then this full DNA sequence or genome contains loads and loads and loads of information, but it has to be able to pack down really small to fit inside the cells in your body. And that's exactly why it's so important that DNA forms this double helix shape. It's that shape that lets it smoosh down really, really, really small so that it can fit inside the cells in your body. And because that shape is so important, we are going to have a go today at creating our very own double helix. And in fact, because I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, we're going to make an edible DNA double helix out of some sweets. So for this, you are going to need some kind of long, thick sweets. I'm using some strawberry pencils, but strawberry laces would work just as well. And these are going to be the sides of our DNA double helix. We're also going to need some bonds to hold the whole thing together. So I'm going to be using some cocktail sticks to act as the bonds. And finally, we need some DNA. We need some DNA bases. So for this, you're going to need sweets that come in 4 different varieties. So either 4 different colours or 4 different patterns, something like that. So long as there's clearly 4 different varieties. I've used jelly tots here, but you could use fruit pastels or jelly babies, jelly beans, whatever you've got handy. So long as there's 4 different varieties and they're kind of gummy so that you can thread them with your cocktail stick, that should work just fine. Okay, let's get started. DNA is made up of an alphabet of 4 letters. A for adenine, T for thymine, G for guanine, and C for cytosine. The first thing that I want to do is split up our sweets, or DNA bases, into their separate groups. So let's do that now. That's better. So you can see I've used red sweets for A, orange sweets for T, the purple sweets for G, and the green sweets for C. But you can use whatever colours you want, whatever you like, so long as you end up with the 4 separate groups, one for each of your DNA bases. These DNA bases are going to make up the rungs of the ladder in the double helix, and always join together in matching pairs. Now I call this the best friend rule, because A always wants to be with T, and T always wants to be with A, a little bit like best friends holding hands. And let's not forget about G and C, because they're best friends too. So G always wants to bond with C, and C always wants to bond with G. So they're also best friends, bonding together and holding hands. So now I'm going to use these cocktail sticks to make our matching pairs and to bond them together. Let's go ahead and do that now. But be careful when you're doing this that you don't accidentally stab yourself with the cocktail sticks. So for this first one, I've got an A, so I'm going to match it with a T. And it goes the other way as well. If I start with a T, I follow it with an A. Okay, that's probably more than enough, but we've paired up all of our bases. So we've got our A's and T's are matched together, our C's and G's are matched together, and now what we have to do is attach our DNA bases to our long DNA strings. So all I'm going to do is, starting at the top, place in the first rung of the ladder and work my way down. Okay, I'm happy with that order. So what I need to do now is attach the other side of the ladder. Again, be careful not to jab your fingers. And now you see we've got this DNA ladder. So all we have to do now is hold it at the top and at the bottom and give it a twist. And there you have it, your very own edible DNA double helix. Now I've made mine quite short, but why not challenge yourself by adding some extra strawberry pencils on lengthwise. You can just use a cocktail stick to attach them together and see how long you can make your double helix. And of course I've made mine out of sweets, but you don't have to, you can use whatever you've got lying around. So perhaps you could try making it out of pipe cleaners and 4 different colours of beads, that would work well. Or you could try making your double helix out of maybe Legos or Connects, maybe even plasticine. And if you didn't want to build a model, you could even just try drawing it out. This is your opportunity to get as creative as you like and see what you can come up with. And of course, you guys know we always love seeing whatever it is you make, all of your wonderful creations, so don't forget to snap a pic and share it with us. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's heaps of great content on there and more being uploaded all of the time. So hopefully we'll see you again very soon. Bye for now. I'm going to eat this now. Best bit.